Many things we don't solve, many things we don't lose. It in the be like highway.
两岸同胞同属中华民族，中华民族是有着5000多年文明史的伟大民族，包括台湾同胞在内的各族人民啊，共同开拓了祖国的辽阔疆域，共同缔造了统一的多民族国家，共同书写了辉煌的中国历史，共同创造了灿烂的中华文明，共同培育了伟大的民族精神，也铸就了国土不可分，国家不可乱，民族不可散，文明不可断的共同信念，引领中华民族啊自强不息，中华文明啊绵延不断。
大陆的发展在习总书记的领导之下成就非凡，而且持续腾飞。“十五五”的规划刚刚开局，必将再上新的台阶，值得期待。
Well, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Jabari Media. We are back. I was sick, so I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad my voice is okay. I got my partner sick. God, I'm such a horrible person. Don't you sneeze. We are here with Amy, who, Amy, introduce yourself because, this is the first time you're on the show. We know each other from activism and just getting out there, pissing off the man. So I'm glad to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm Amy Lappos. I live in Middletown, Connecticut. I'm anti-racist. I'm anti-genocide. I'm anti-war. A lot of the stuff that I know is self-taught from books. I read a lot of books. And I think that's really where my disconnect from, I guess, the Democrats and kind of where we are as white people in this country began. And so I have to credit Ibram X. Kendi and Stamped from the Beginning. That was probably the first book that I read where I was like, wait a minute, I didn't learn any of this stuff. How is this possible? And then, I really got into a lot of Black authors and learning about the civil rights movement and, stuff. I couldn't believe that hadn't learned. I went through high school and then college and didn't learn any of these things.
Right? Isn't it crazy?
It totally insane. And I remember somebody actually mentioning to me, because I did have this thing in my head about when we go to war, it really is to protect Americans and it really is to protect freedom. And it took one conversation that I had with somebody that was from Bosnia. And she kind of filled me in on what the global view of America is. And I remember just thinking how stupid I was to never question anything that I was told. And so, yeah, then I just turned to books and I looked for authors. I used to say, please get me books that are written by the people that the book is about. If I'm reading about Black history, I want it to be written by Black people. If I'm reading about Palestinian history, I want to read books by Palestinian people, Iranian history, Iranian people, Lebanese, same, And so I just built my library that way. And that's, where I've learned a lot of this stuff. And then international justice, international law. I really started to focus on that because I just felt like everything is so crazy. What do we lean into? What are my central tenets, And they really have to be international law and humanitarian rights. So, yeah. Did I just ramble?
Really awesome. No, that's fine. You know, first time, so we definitely want to get an understanding of where you became a revolutionary at. It's very, very important because what you might share might spark someone else that's listening and be like, hey, you know, I did hear about that. Let me check that out. You know what I mean? Or you
Yeah.
might just get a whole new lead. Be like, oh wow, Amy went through this and stuff. Like, it's all about identifying and understanding and relating, and that's how the working class stays strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a beautiful example of how solidarity can be grown and taught and educated, and how sadly our educational systems are built in a way for us to support empire and to not be together but to be individuals and to be divided, because once we're divided and we're individuals, they can just take away our rights and everything, as we see now.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's also kind of, there's this assumption that we're not smart, right? I was a huge Hillary Clinton supporter. I had posters of Hillary Clinton on my wall. I volunteered my weekends to work at fundraisers for her. I helped raise so much money for her. I have so many pictures of me and her. I have pictures of her and my children. And when I heard her in the beginning, after the attack, the October 7th attack, I heard her claim that Gaza is not occupied, that Israel handed over the keys. And that exact phrase is Hasbara. And I heard that and I was like, what the, am I allowed to say bad words?
Yeah, you can. We are
Okay.
on YouTube. We're fine.
And I was like, what the F? Like, what is she talking about? That's not true at all, because I just read books on it. And I'm like, how can, and then I realized, holy crap, they lean into the fact that they know that we don't know these things. So
yes.
I hear Hillary say that, and I believe that. And I think, oh my goodness, they handed over the keys in 2008, which is a crock of shit. They didn't. And so that really just, I don't know. And one of the things I learned in critical race theory is to let go of binary thinking, right and wrong, black and white, that there's a whole plethora of things in between that. And I think when I let go of that binary thinking, it really helped me to open up. And also the ability to say, I was wrong. I think a lot of people don't really have that. I was wrong to support Hillary. I am so mad. I'm sorry. I'm so mad that I supported Hillary and didn't dig more into what she was saying.
Yeah, totally agree. And shouts out to Extra Bola, friend of
I was
the
just
show.
gonna say
I'm
that.
also a friend of his show as well too. Good to see you, my brother. We have also CB. We have CBC voter back here. Welcome again. So yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, everything that we have been taught to unlearn right now in this time in history, the world is unlearning. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The idea of Big Brother America is going to come and save you is just dwindling. That propaganda is dwindling so strongly that of all allies, you know, Taiwan's not a country. It's only recognized by two countries, which guess who's the two countries, guys? Israel and America. Isn't that so ironic? No other countries really recognize Taiwan as its own independent nation. In Taiwan, as we showed in the video earlier, they looked over and saw what was going on in the Middle East, and they was like, oh, if they're having this much of a hard time with Iran, how are we expecting them to come and help us with China? And this is just the opposition party. This is not speaking on the working class full perspective of Taiwan. This is how the opposition party has felt. If you don't know the history, they were colonized by Japan, and then after Japan was overthrown, the nationalists that were against Mao in China, they retreated into Taiwan, and then America acknowledged that their government in Taiwan was the real Chinese government. And we all knew that wasn't true. Later on, they had to come to terms and realize, okay, we're full of shit. And that's when the one China policy started, which they continue to say they support, but also go against 24/7, because why are you trying to arm Taiwan? So they see this. Taiwan's opposition party sees this. Before we go into Iran and all that stuff like that, what are your response to that type of big news? I mean, Jesus Christ, it just happened out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was just reading something. I was trying to look for who are of our allies in Europe have blocked us from using their airspace.
Yes,
because now I don't remember. I was trying to find it.
I believe it was Spain. The UK said now they want to say no all the way. France, Italy, a lot of NATO allies. A lot. I don't know the status on Turkey actually, but
and it's also the first time that they've done this.
Right.
There it is. Okay,
right.
Austria, France, Italy, Spain, and Switzerland.
Yes.
Switzerland.
Yeah. Of all, like, Switzerland is no longer being neutral. It's insane. Yeah. How did you convince them?
Yeah. And Italy, I mean, I just love Italy right now. The way that Italy is really standing up to Trump and standing up to Israel. Not as much as I wish they were, but especially over Iran. I mean, I think that Iran's just done a really good job in the PR department here. I think that's something that was missing in past conflicts in the Middle East, is that why would they give a shit what Americans think? You know, obviously. But now it's like,
they're like, this is our problem, not theirs.
Yeah. And now I feel like Iran is like, and this is something that happened with Hamas, is understanding, like, we don't need to just convince the people that are in our country of this. We need PR. We need to be able to express what is happening and our own thoughts and views out. We need to be able to speak for ourselves.
Right.
And I think that that's what they've been doing. And so, you know, Iran releases these multiple page documents about what they want, and no one reads it. And then, you know, they drop a Lego video with a rap song about Trump, and everyone watches it. And I'm obsessed with them.
Slaps.
I think it's the most beautiful PR campaign I've ever seen in my lifetime. And they're so spot on. How are they so spot on with that? And it completely eliminates the belief that we're two different people and that we don't understand each other. I think it's
genius. That's something that Che Guevara has said. The working class has no borders, is what's important for people to understand. Wait, what we see? Thinking about this. 4 people from this show. We need more people. I see about 10 people watching. You know, like, share, subscribe. I think it's important that I keep saying that. Like, share, subscribe, guys, please. You know what I mean? We are a little show. We have no corporate backers. This is all working class funded. Whatever comes into my paycheck and whatever after paying my bills and take care of responsibilities comes to this show, which is very small. So I thank you so much for the support, for watching. Let's look at the Spain, since we're talking about Europe real quick and their relationship, because, you know, Trump is very pissed off. We're going to get into that later on about how pissed off Trump is with the crash out. But let's look at Spain's response right now. One second, guys.
Una Europa que sea firme en la defensa del derecho internacional y de un orden global basado en reglas. No podemos quedarnos solamente con, en fin, el lamento, la frustración. En fin, basta con mirar a Gaza para ver cuáles son las consecuencias de esta violación que se está haciendo del derecho internacional. Por eso, desde Europa también debemos ser claros, porque hay muchos países de ese llamado sur global que están mirando a Europa y que lo que quieren es que no cometamos esto de los dobles estándares, de la doble vara de medir en función de cuál sea el caso, si afecta más o menos a Europa. No permitamos una nueva Gaza en el Líbano. Porque ante violaciones flagrantes del derecho internacional humanitario, Europa tiene que actuar con coherencia si queremos, además, también que el resto del mundo nos mire y nos apoye en el apoyo que estamos dando y prestando a Ucrania en su lucha por la libertad frente al invasor, en este caso la Rusia de Putin. Y por eso, ayer, el Gobierno de España y yo mismo planteé el que por coherencia y también por empatía, lo que tiene que hacer la Unión Europea es suspender su acuerdo de asociación con Israel, porque es evidente que está atropellando y violando muchos de los artículos de ese acuerdo de asociación, sobre todo aquellos vinculados con el respeto al derecho.
Yeah. Oh, where are we? Here we are. Yeah. And for further notice, we're done with Israel. Basically, is what he's saying. If you wasn't able to see the captions were kind of a little small. Israel is on notice, and they want to arrest Bibi. They want to get him. I think, Amy, this is going to snowball into a lot of other European states.
Absolutely, we needed one. Right? We needed the
Right.
one to stand up, because nobody in a room of seated people wants to be the first to stand. But they stood. Spain stood. And now I really think that we're going to start seeing the rest of Europe start to join in, because already they've been talking about sanctions. Nobody wants to keep shipping shit to Israel. Nobody wants to keep giving them weapons. I really think so. They really need to boycott, sanction, divest. And I really think we're going to start seeing that. This is how it happened with South Africa too. It started with one nation. So that's what we needed, was the one. And now that we have the one, I believe that we're going to start seeing more. And then I think that we're going to start seeing a divide. There are going to be the ones that are too scared to speak up, and they're going to feel the pressure. And I am really happy to see that the constituency and residents of these nations are speaking up. They are protesting. They are educated on what Israel is doing and what's happening. I mean, how many pictures of blown up babies do you need to look at before you say this is wrong?
Right.
And so I'm really excited about this. And I really think Italy's going to be next. I think Italy's going to be the next country to be like, GFY, Israel, we are done with this. I really wish that they would all stop addressing Israel as Israel and call it apartheid Israel, because that's what the fuck it is.
It is definitely apartheid Israel.
And that's what the UN calls it. And we did this with South Africa. And so we should be calling it by the name of what it is. We also should, let me get off my soapbox. But yeah, I'm really excited that Spain did that. And I'm looking forward to Italy and hopefully France joining in soon.
Yeah, and Spain went even more. Wait, whoa, wrong one. There we go. Spain went even more sicker. Not sicker, but like more. Like, we don't give a fuck. Basically, they are reopening their embassy in Iran, so that means that they're going to start rebuilding ties with Iran. And
because Iranians are beautiful people,
right?
And they've been around so much longer than we have. And they have never attacked their neighbors. They have not started wars. They've never attacked us. And in comes Israel that decides that they're not going to declare their borders, that they want more land, that they want to steal uranium from Iran and drag us into this war.
Right.
And as upset as that makes me, I feel like every move that Israel makes now is another nail in its own fucking coffin. I really think the fact that it attacked Iran, I mean, if you back up and you look at what happened with Iran months ago, the first attack, the 12-day war or whatever it was called, Trump told Israel not to attack. Israel was like, we're not going to listen to you. And Israel attacked. Then Israel turned around within 24 hours of attacking a sovereign nation that had a standing army. Israel comes begging for us to bail them out. And at first, Trump is like, no. And so Trump is trying to negotiate with Iran. Yeah. Israel kills the negotiators. Yep. They bombed the building and killed the negotiators. So we got in there and started bombing. And I don't agree with a fucking thing that Trump does, but I really honestly believe that he is the only one, because Biden never had the fucking ovaries to stand up to Netanyahu. Obama would not have the ovaries to stand up to Netanyahu. But I really think that Trump doesn't have the ovaries to do it, but he is so short-sighted and so easily triggered that the second that Israel's like, no, that I think he's going to throw a temper tantrum and nobody's going to be able to stop him. We've seen him do it before.
Yeah. That's that. He's very reactionary to the point that whenever he looks bad, he makes adjustments. He does not care.
Yeah. And he cares more about righting a wrong that he feels, like his own personal feelings. So if Bibi pisses him off, which he is going to, and I guarantee it's going to happen now, because all of Trump's friends are telling him he's got Saudi Arabia bitching at him. He's got, and they're all just putting the pressure on, because Iran, another genius move, isn't just attacking Israel. They're like, okay, you've got bases in this country. We're taking out those bases. We're going to take out the airport of the base of that country. It's genius. It is genius. It is pressuring all of, Trump's friends to put pressure on Trump. And that's exactly what's happening.
And here we have a tweet from the Hormuz letter, which saying breaking, Trump privately called Netanyahu yesterday, urging him to scale back Israel's strike in Lebanon to protect the Iran negotiations, per NBC News citing a senior U.S. official. While the Trump administration and Israel have both said Lebanon is not covered by the ceasefire, that's a lie. Trump actually said it was, and then he had a conversation with Bibi and did backpedal, but I digress. Israel agreed to be helpful partners. Yet Netanyahu publicly vowed Wednesday to continue striking Lebanon forcefully. So this is what this happened yesterday, which is why they're setting up for talks on Saturday, guys. But we don't know if the talks are really going to happen, because the media has said today. I saw in the media that that Lebanon and Israel might talk. So maybe there'll be a pause in conflict, or maybe there won't be. But people have to understand that the United States government does control Israel. They do. We saw this with Reagan. When it was time to stop, Reagan told them to stop, and they stopped. You know what I mean? Israel is a U.S. military base. The whole damn country is a U.S. military base. They have their own interests. Don't get me wrong. Yes, they do. They want to expand. They want greater Israel. But they have always done as much as the Americans allowed them to do. And since they're under the thumb of the Americans, is the reason why they are protected by the ICC. We fund them. Once we stop the funding, once we stop the guns and the shipments, they cannot do anything.
Right.
And I have to say this.
Cock blocking any accountability. We've used the veto 75 times to protect Israel from accountability.
75 times.
75. Let me tell you what the total time that I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, go right on ahead.
I'm just looking up.
No, I like the fact that you check yourself. You know what I mean? That's something that CNN and Fox News could never do.
I love fact checking myself, and I love when I find I'm right.
Right.
Okay, so we've only used the veto 89 times. And 75 of those times have been to protect Israel from accountability. Can you imagine if that didn't happen?
Yeah, dude.
Did you see the tweet from the Prime Minister of Pakistan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that's what
the
you were
next
referencing.
thing. Let me get into that tweet, but go ahead and talk about because they're going to be in Islamabad, I believe is the name of the city.
Yes.
Of Pakistan. By the way, free Imran Khan. Jesus Christ. Free Imran Khan. Okay, and his wife. Because they are both locked up, by the way, guys, over some stupid shit. Something about how she wasn't menstruating properly when they got married at the right time. So they locking the woman up for her body, just so they could keep the prime minister that was elected in prison. This is what Pakistan's crazy ass government is doing right now. But they are part of the negotiations. You know what I mean? Right now, and of course, we want them to negotiate. I don't think this is going to last. What do you think about this whole negotiation?
Yeah, no, God. First of all, I think Israel with Netanyahu became the middle child, right? This is our fucking
Right,
middle child.
right.
And they are not going to listen. And this goes way beyond Netanyahu now, because the people of Israel have become so right wing that you can remove Netanyahu and I think we would still have the same results because he's been there for 30
Yes,
freaking years, you know?
yes. It's the
Um,
mindset of the people, which the polls show that majority of them are pro genocide. So we can't sit here and pretend that
right.
they're not.
And what Iran is doing with this 10-point deal is it's really smart, because they said after what happened with the 12-day whatever, they were like, no, we're not going to give you a break again so that you can come, replenish and then come back in 6 months and attack us again. So you are
Yeah, that
going
was
to
funny.
agree to
I can't believe they said
non-aggressions.
that.
It was genius. And they're right.
Right.
And then this time they said, we're not going to fucking stop bombing Israel. And you know what? They haven't. They have bombed
They haven't.
Israel every single day since it started. Um,
Yeah.
and they're just genius. I'm just so in. I I love history, and I really, really wish that I could beam into the future to read a history book about this situation and the way that it's recorded in the future. I don't know if that made sense, but yeah, and
No,
part
no,
of this includes Lebanon and Gaza. So they cannot
no.
attack. And
That's the wrong
Israel's
tweet.
never going to agree to that. But the
No,
problem
they're not.
is, if Trump can't get them to agree and behave, then Trump is going to continue to lose American soldiers,
Right. That they're
international
lying and saying
support.
they're all injured.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the fact, yeah, I won't even. But yeah, so the pressure is on Trump, and Trump is in a really bad position right now because he's got a middle child that won't stop kicking people in school. And now he's been given a report and he's like, we are going, I unfortunately think it's going to end with Israel doing something really big and really stupid.
Yes.
I
I
don't
found
even
the
know.
tweet finally.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, there are so many moving parts that it's hard for me to imagine exactly what Israel's going to do, because I want to say that they're going to get really pissed off and isolate. And they're going to be like, fuck everyone. We're on our own. We don't need you guys. But they do. They need our money. They are the largest cumulative recipient of American foreign aid in the history of American foreign aid. One fun fact
Yeah.
for you that I love to tweet and I'd like to share with you. The Marshall Plan. I'm sure you know the Marshall Plan rebuilt 16 European nations after World War II. And that was to make sure that they sided with us and not
Yes.
Russia. That's just, a
Yes.
very top line, very whitish approach to that, I'm simplifying it, but that's what that was. And the Marshall Plan cost American taxpayers $150 billion.
Wow.
Yeah. We have paid
Wow.
Israel the size of New Jersey over $300 billion. So we have paid Israel twice as much as the Marshall Plan cost. And that blows my mind. And I like to use that as an example because I learned about the Marshall Plan in school. So, that was one of the biggest things we've done. It was so helpful. We rebuilt infrastructures in 16 European nations. And here, a country the size of New Jersey that's younger than my mother has needed twice that amount.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they can't isolate.
No, they can't. And they know if we cut them off, they won't be able to survive because no one else really wants to be the one to be responsible for Israel, to take up that burden besides America.
And to be honest, they don't have the manpower to continue with the IDF.
No, they don't. It's a country of 9 million. They want to beef with a country of 90 million. It's absolutely insane how crazy this Knesset is. It's absolutely insane.
The stuff they say, like, honestly, some of the things they say, like, because Ted Cruz usually makes my skin crawl. Like he says something and I'm just like, oh my God, this man, like when he speaks, he's representing me as an American.
I know, right?
How do people not feel that in Israel? You know, like, or
Right.
do they? That's what I want to know. Although polling
Exactly.
shows that, although polling tells me that Israelis fully support this government and fully support the genocide and fully support, I also have to remind myself that this is a government that's probably full of shit and probably tweaks every single fucking survey that they do to make
Right.
it look like, you know, oops.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so we Al Jazeera from Extra Bola said that Al Jazeera was reporting that Iranian delegation led by the country's parliament speaker has arrived in Pakistan for talks with the U.S. State TV says. So earlier today, there was a question: were they going to come? But it seems like they are. Now we know that they're not going to tell us what the conversations are going to be going on. We're not going to have a hot mic. I wish we had a hot mic, but I'm telling you right now, I don't think it's going to be cordial. I think it's going to be a lot of America being, I get to tell you what you need to do, brown man. You brown, me white, Anglo-Saxon. I had to add the Anglo-Saxon part in there because, but like it's dictation. They don't talk. They dictate.
They
For
talk at
example,
people. Yeah, and
right.
that's everything I've read about the peace talks or the
Right.
the Abraham Accords and whatever it was for Israel to steal more land from Palestine. I forgot what the heck that was called under Clinton. All of those is talking at, and that's exactly what they're going to do with Lebanon in this side deal that's going on.
Yep.
They're going to take a shit ton of Lebanese land in exchange for Israel not killing their civilians. That's exactly what Israel has always done with Palestine. It makes me sick. It makes me fucking sick. Sorry.
No, absolutely. You know, and you
This
see
menopause rage is like so real.
Oh my God. And you can see how aggressive they showed how aggressive they could get when they had Zelensky. And as much as I am not a fan of Zelensky, I did feel bad for him that day where they told him to his face in front of the TV, you know, you don't have the cards here. You're going to get your country blown up, blah, 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 blah. America this, America that. Like, you don't talk like that to a foreign leader on TV.
Exactly.
You talk to them behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're ugly people.
Oh, yeah.
These people are monsters.
Yeah.
These people feel that they are the new Roman legion, the new great Roman Empire at this point. They think
because they believe that they're chosen. They believe that they're supreme. Honestly, it's all eugenics. They believe that their blood somehow makes them better than everyone else. And it's like,
and this is so true.
And I just want to say one other thing. The fact that they constantly speak for Jewish people, when the dysphoria of Jewish people is so much larger than the population of Israel by millions. They don't get to vote.
Nope.
So you do not represent them.
Right. You're just a government body.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. Just like how there's Christian government bodies. People will look at them crazy if they say, "Oh, I speak for all Christians." You know what I mean? You don't. You are Zionists. You're Zionists. Only 40% of your Jewish population is Zionist. From last I checked in the poll, the other 60% don't even want to recognize you. And this is the harsh truths that the Western media never wants to share at all.
Right.
You only hear about this when somebody that's anti-Israel, that's Jewish, tells you this information.
Right. And I also think that Jewish people in general have always been on the quieter side. Like you know, they get involved in protests and stuff like that, but they're not like leading a charge. And I think that a lot of that comes from the fact that that's from the Holocaust. You know, I think that that comes from not necessarily feeling safe in all situations, and with good reason. So the fact that we've got very vocal Israelis and Jews that may feel isolated and not a part of a group that can openly speak against what Israel's doing. It takes their voice from them.
Right.
It just, I don't know.
I can't imagine, because it has to be so like embarrassing and overbearing for them, because only thing I can imagine, like if there was a very far right wing government in like Africa that said we speak for black people only and we're going to be taking over these tribes and all this stuff.
Yes, and watch us kill all these babies and wear women's clothes.
We're going to kill all these babies. We're going to wear women's clothes, women that we murdered, and we're doing it all for the glory of Africa, all for the glory of the black diaspora. And if you don't like that, then you're anti-black. If you don't like the fact that I don't get to kill these children, then you're anti-black. That's how they sound.
And then telling people on Twitter, I'm taking away your black card because you said that.
Because they do that too. They're like, you are a self-hating Jew.
Yes, that's the phrase.
What?
Self-loathing
Jew. Like,
you're anti-genocide, you self-loathing Jew. But in the same, in that message, what they're saying is Jews are genocidal. Like,
right.
I don't know. So I also think that being raised to believe that Israel is a safe place for them and having a hard time detaching from what Israel's actually doing right now, I can imagine that being a struggle.
Yeah,
and
it's definitely a struggle ideology, and I respect the people that come out of that Zionist ideology. You know,
the Christians, like Jewish Voices for Peace, that shut stuff down, that were first in line on college campuses. Like when under Biden, college campuses are being attacked. Another fun fact: Germans, because I was really curious. How did the world respond to Germans not in Germany during World War II? And I found several articles about German Americans that didn't feel safe on college campuses because they had an issue with Nazis being discussed the way they were and being associated with Nazis.
Right.
Number one, Nazism being misrepresented, like all of this shit, right? It sounded exactly like it does today. And that's, I think that was something that Ibram X. Kendi pointed out in Stamped from the Beginning, that history repeats itself, that we don't bother paying attention. And when Trump took office, or before Trump took office the second time, I was watching the way that Biden was passing these laws. Number one, he's attacking college campuses, but I also remember Obama had been sued for saying that undocumented people do not have constitutional rights. And I remember how much that bothered me under him. But I see such an overlap between that and how Nazi Germany came to power. The left was passing these laws and doing these things that the right then, Nazism, came in and was like, oh, we're gonna use this gap to tear wide open your rights. And that's exactly what we're seeing happening now.
Right.
So this didn't happen overnight. We've been coming to this. This is where this country's reckoning is happening at the same time that we're funding a genocide and at the same time that we're about to get into World War III. It's such an insane time to be alive.
It really is. The propaganda itself is unraveling, man. You know, I have had so many different conversations with people that have had different stances a few years ago. And then when I see them again, and we just come back into say what's going on, they slowly start to sound like me, and I'm just like, oh crap! Finally, you know what I mean? Finally, because like this whole time, they have literally lost the support and this whole patriotic mindset all they want is just a change. And
Yeah.
you're not getting it with the Democrats. You're damn straight ain't getting it with the Republicans. So what's next? We got to get rid of the system itself.
Yeah.
We have to
I like
change the system.
choice rank voting, and I hate the two-party system. I'm not sure a more than two-party system works either. Holy crap. I haven't read that yet.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
I love the long ones. I always know there's going to be something.
Yeah. Oh God, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Finish your thought though.
I lost it. I don't remember even what I was saying.
Sorry about that. Well, Alex Suarez is about to be on soon. He's running a little late. Sorry about that. But he'll be on soon. He has to drive somewhere. So let's get
Don't
into
be telling his business. Why are you
quick.
telling his business?
That's right. You're right. Sorry about that, Alex. So this is a tweet. Like I'm telling you, this is a part of the crash out. I feel like this man, Taiwan left America. Well, they're probably still going to do ties with them, but it does look like Taiwan's about to be done with America. Europe's done with America. You know what I mean? It's getting crazy. So,
they're stupid people. They know it, and their families know it, and everyone else knows it too. Who writes that?
This guy, he feels very attacked. He feels very. You can't even blame New York because, yes, the shit talking is definitely a New York thing. Like, he's from New York the way he acts. Like, God,
I always forget that. He's not a New Yorker. They do not claim him.
Yeah,
but
they're so done with him too.
Do you remember the way he was like drooling over Mamdani? That was like one of the greatest, and it was just because it was New York. He was like the way he was looking at him. I was like, I want a man to look at me that way.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what happened. He was talking a lot of shit about him, and then when he finally met him, he's like, I love this guy.
Yeah,
this is such a great guy.
In a room, and everyone's like, oh yeah. Sorry, I digress again.
This is a very large paragraph for people. I don't even know. I'm just going to read a few things that were like, what the hell?
They've all been thrown off television and lost their shows. So did he. You're fired. I'm sorry. I'm going to be quiet and let you go through this.
No, go ahead. If you want to pick out some, go right on ahead.
Like, Rosie O'Donnell was like, "What the fuck? I thought he was done with me, and here he is."
Never over. He is never over Rosie O'Donnell. No, he's obsessed with Rosie O'Donnell like Obama.
When he passes, I promise that every single chance I get, I'm going to put something Rosie O'Donnell at his grave. But Tucker Carlson, I just want to mention him for a minute.
Yeah, let's talk about Tucker.
I've never liked that man. And when I saw his interview with Ted Cruz, I think that was the turning point for me. I watched that. First of all, that was the most entertaining thing I've watched in a long time. Tucker Carlson's voice drives me insane because he gets really high pitched when he's trying to make a point, and it's just like, so he has like this, I don't know, like a playground voice. I want to say, I don't even know how to describe it better than that. But that whole interview cracked me the fuck up.
Right.
But I have yet to see him talking about something since then that I don't agree with. And it's killing me. I know that he has horrible views on things, and a clock is right.
Yeah.
A broken clock is right twice, Yeah. But
I would definitely never ask him about black people or immigrants.
No. Right, exactly. And so my point is that when you have someone like that, and then he mentioned other people. I know it was Candace, and I'm not targeting Candace, but the people that he mentioned are all people that I would never expect to say the right thing before Democrats.
Especially Megyn Kelly.
Oh, yeah, Megyn Kelly. Yeah.
Like,
and then the dude that denied Sandy Hook. I didn't realize that he also...
Alex Jones.
Yeah, so is Alex Jones also saying that Israel sucks?
Alex Jones... So, all right. I listen to right-wing media so I can know what these motherfuckers are talking about. I give them like an hour or two. Alex Jones has been very critical of what's going on right now.
Really?
He
This is mind blowing that these people,
Yeah.
the people that are so hideously wrong about so many things,
right.
are actually hitting the mark on this before
Right.
Democrats. Before Democrats. Why is
And then what
Tucker
scares me,
Carlson
Amy,
making more? Yeah, sorry.
Right. No. But what scares me, Amy, is that like this is like I'm glad they're saying these things, but we know they're only saying them because it will garner them more attention because they see that the world is agreeing with these talking points, and it will also lean some people to the right, and we got to catch them. We can't let them go towards the right because then they're going to be a whole contradiction of themselves.
Yeah. Well, I think honestly, what it's going to help do is smash the line between Republican and Democrats. There is no line there. It's imaginary.
Yeah, it's definitely that's done. MAGA's dead.
It's an up and down. It's wealth versus unwealth. Wealth versus us. It's not left and right. And so I think that's what I'm starting to see is that when Tucker Carlson is making sense to me, it means that the Democratic Party that is supposed to be humanitarian, that is supposed to be anti-genocide, when they cave on those two issues, they literally become to the right of Tucker Carlson and
which is
Megyn
crazy.
Kelly. And I'm thankful
Megyn
for
Kelly.
the arms on this chair, so I am not falling out of my chair on the ground right now because really.
Yeah. But you're also well read. And a lot of people aren't.
Yes.
And I'm afraid of the ones that aren't well read to be able to combat their ideology from being able to understand, okay, I agree with you on this, but I disagree with you on this. I'm afraid that people won't be able to make that.
No,
and, at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do about it because at the end of the day, it's just going to be the way it is. We just have to be here on the left, making sure that we're more
and educating
and educating are able. We gotta be able to guide the working class to us actually supporting their actual base, the working class. You know what I mean? It's a tough task, but somebody gotta do it. But his crash out is just
back to that.
It scares me. It scares me because this is the man that controls the nukes.
Will you put it up again?
Man. Yeah. Let's put it back up.
Yeah, he does control the effing nukes. He's got it. But so I was asking AI about this because I was like, can he really just decide to go to war? Like, is there any other protections? And there are some protections in place. He actually doesn't, I don't think, have the final say. But you're right. Like, is he going to get pissed off enough at Iran to launch one of these at them?
Yeah. And China already said that if that happens, then we're going to nuke Israel. Pakistan said that too. So it's
really,
they said that. Yep. China's getting to the point where they're threatening, and it's crazy when China starts to threaten.
I was just going to say, China is just sticks to themselves, does their own thing, doesn't get involved in world issues. Do you like sci-fi books?
Yes, I haven't read a good one in a while, but yes.
There's an author. Her name is N.K. Jemisin. She's a Black woman who writes sci-fi. Have you ever read any of her books?
No.
Okay, she's amazing. And so I just want to plug one of her books now. It's actually called Cities. And it was so damn good. But the way that, so each city actually has like a person that's tied to that city, and that person feels the emotions of that city. That person has the history and the age and the wisdom of that city. And the people that represented China in this book were freaking hysterical, and it helped me learn really about the isolationism and why they don't fuck with the rest of us. So yes, for China to be speaking up is insane to me. It's absolutely insane to me. What I want to see is who is going to start resupplying Iran with weapons. Who is going to take that move? Do you think someone will?
Well, I'm not Aaron Mate or Elijah Metinier. I'm pretty sure I just massacred that great man's voice name. But I would say that if it gets to that, I don't see any problem with China not supplying them or Russia not supplying them.
I'm surprised they haven't yet.
Well, the thing is that they're damn fucking well prepared. they
are
40 years and they stocked up really freaking well. You know what I mean? So it's like, I remember I was watching an interview with a Russian ambassador. I believe it was what was the prime minister? Not the prime minister, but the ambassador of Russia's name. God, I can't even think of his name. Sergei Lavrov, and they asked him basically,
that was impressive.
Are you guys working? Are you guys working with them? Are you helping them out? He was like, they haven't called us. Now he could be lying, but no, for the first, like the 12-day war, they didn't call them. They were like, nah, bro, we got this. We don't need you. And then this war happens. They're like, nah, bro, listen, like, give us some intelligence, you in China, but honestly, we really don't need y'all right now. You know what I mean? Like, like they're just handling this themselves.
Yeah. You know, can I point out one other genius thing that I think that Iran did that I haven't mentioned yet is with the Strait. So the petrodollar is what's elevated America for a very long time, right? We detached the dollar from gold and we've been relying on the petrodollar.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Iran said we will only let ships through that pay with the yen, that's literally going to tank us. And I'm not smiling because I want to see something bad happen to America. I'm smiling because I am blown away. America says, I'm going to swing my big dick and I'm going to hit everybody with it. And I'm just going to take you down that way. So anyone who stands up to us has to fight the schoolyard bully in a methodic way. And I think that they're doing that. I think that they're making big strides. And I think the fact that they're now threatening even the dollar, Trump can't ignore it, you know?
Right.
If
and this is a brick nation, by the way.
Yes. If oil is making it through and they are not being purchased with the dollar, then literally the dollar has no meaning anymore. And that is one of the most genius things. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid and that's why I'm saying it's genius, but I'm the way that they have approached, they're fighting a war on so many different levels. And I feel like they're just winning. Like, we cannot swing our dick and win this one. And they are outsmarting us.
Yeah. You know, and America's being what America is, a very violent, imposing, infrastructure destroying nation. They are attacking them in every way, killing more innocent people than they are actually killing soldiers. Same way that Israel is. You know, the stepchild is doing effectiveness with just murdering, but they do not have the consistency. They don't have the consistency to also be to have the strategy on what is the end goal. I don't think there is a strategy. The strategy is no more. Well, all it is just reactionary. It's, we are going to punish them, and because we are America, and we're going to use Israel to do whatever the hell they want to do. Like, there's no actual strategy. They didn't go in there with a goal. They went in there just because they see them as a threat and they want to steal their resources. They want to balkanize the state.
That's what I was going to say. They want uranium. They want the nuclear capabilities that Iran has not touched itself.
Right.
But yeah, I think to touch on your point, the way that our soldiers behaved in Iraq is so embarrassing. I was so embarrassed by the way that. So how are Israelis not embarrassed by what? I just don't understand. I guess
it's crazy, right?
Yeah, I just don't understand it.
But while they were doing that in Iraq, Iran was doing this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Motherfucking, y'all are crazy. They were doing that, and they opposed Iraq being attacked because Iraq was enemies with them, but they still opposed. They still
Yep.
showed the solidarity. And another thing about Afghanistan and Iraq that people don't understand: those military bases that got blown up, those were the bases that they used to destroy Afghanistan, to destroy Iraq.
Yep.
So clearly, Iran was doing their homework because it was like, oh, you guys think you're going to do the same thing to us that you did to them? Let's see how you do it decapitated. We're going to evict you from the Gulf states. We're going to attack and destroy all of these bases. Let's see how you conduct this war when you don't have your little toys and you don't have your bases. Like, they made them start fighting blind.
And
which
you
is
know what
insane.
I didn't even know about 9/11 until more recently, years, but I didn't know this for at least several years after it happened, that there were 19 hijackers, right?
Right.
15 of them were Saudi Arabian.
Yes.
But we didn't attack Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Right.
And then I was like, and I was educated. How the fuck did I not know that? No, but that's the thing, is that I relied on these white centered news sources that, brown is bad, brown is beneath us, white is good, we are superior, we are supreme. This is why, and it never made sense to me, the excuses for 9/11, like they're jealous of us. They don't like our freedom. And I remember people saying that to me, and I'm like, that just doesn't sound right. I just didn't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree with, I think, the point that we were getting to, that we are no better than Israel, and that Israel really is just an outpost of America.
They're the ones that do the dirty job, but we don't want to look bad. You know what I mean?
I think the weirdest thing about that is that we don't expect them to be our boots on the ground in Middle Eastern conflicts. They're not.
Right.
So it's
right.
I just think that that's a weird part of it. Like, if they really are just a military base, then they would also be the boots on the ground. So I feel like it's almost like
they have a mighty Air Force, very powerful Air Force, but they cannot do invasions properly. You know what I mean? They can't even defeat Hamas.
I was just going to say Hezbollah. Okay, in 2000, I want to say it was 2008 or 2006. There were two events that happened. Both times, Israel invaded Lebanon. Hezbollah was outnumbered and outgunned 50-1, 50-1, and still won.
Yeah,
they slaughtered Israel because they know the mountains, and it was. To read about what they did, like, these were people that left their home, had no military training, and were like, I'm going to protect my country.
Right.
And went and fought these invaders and won. Yep. So I don't think that Israel has a chance against them this time. I really don't. And that's why they're bombing the fuck out of villages and stuff like that, and destroying whole villages, is because they're trying to destroy any of the people that would come and join Hezbollah to fight Israel's invasion.
And they haven't made any advances at all. They are still trying to push in, but Hezbollah is doing enough to keep them from pushing all the way in. You know what I mean? I think that's the reason why they weren't able to join the invasion of Iran, because first of all, they couldn't even they can't even take on Hezbollah. What makes them think they could fight on the ground in Iran when Iran is so much more of a powerful force and way more soldiers? Over 1 million is their army. They don't tell it how strong is their reserves.
They're also geographically protected.
Right. There's a mountainous area. They understand.
Yeah.
Right.
We are not getting in. You're
not getting in.
If we try to do that, all we are doing is sending our sons and daughters to die. And you know who those sons and daughters are going to be. It's not going to be the wealthy congressional candidates or people, it's not going to be their kids. It's going to be brown and black children from lower income families that are going to be signed up and promised these big bonuses and college and all this other stuff, and then we're going to ship them out.
Yeah, I have a tweet here from Michael Kaplan. I believe that's how Kaplan. Let's see. So this is about the deadly, not deadly, but the operation where they were trying to save the pilot. They were saying that when they put these soldiers out, the U.S. soldiers who survived Iran's deadliest attack on American troops during the 5-week war dispute the Pentagon's account of the incident. The truth, they say that they were left unprotected on a base that was a known target. So they're not getting, Hegseth is saying that, oh, these guys are the best and they're well prepared and all this stuff. They're looking like sitting ducks out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is why I believe that there are more American soldiers dead than they're trying to say isn't.
Yeah.
Because
oh, yeah, for sure.
He said that those who survived in this tweet. So how many are dead?
Yeah.
And how many survived? He ain't saying, oh, they're all wounded. He said U.S. soldiers who survived Iran's deadliest attack on American troops during the 5-week war dispute. The Pentagon accounts of the incident. Like, they're not telling us. I think when Iran said they killed over 500 U.S. soldiers, I believe them right now.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I totally do. Yeah.
And they're probably threatening the families.
And that's what I was wondering too, is that, like, I'm a mom, and if something happened to one of my kids, I'd be vocal as fuck. So I'm wondering what's happening to these families. That are they not allowed to speak? Are they afraid of getting pushback or whatever? It's going to come to a point where these moms are going to band together and start speaking up. And I can't wait for that moment, because I'm going to be standing behind them 1,000%. Right.
And the U.S. has always lied about its numbers. People, historically, they have always lied. And you know who also does that? Israel. Israel lies about their numbers.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you know right now. Hezbollah is killing Israelis left and right, destroying tanks left and right, which is why they can't get in the way they want to get in. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of time before all that comes out. It took Fox News 2 days ago to finally say, yes, Tel Aviv's getting destroyed. You know what I mean? We saw it already in videos.
So it's really hard to find information on Israel and how much destruction there is. So what I do is I use my AI to ask it about how many insurance claims there are, because that's all public information, and Israel releases that. And AI is more than happy to talk about insurance claims. So I literally Google how many insurance claims have been made in Israel today. And it talks, and I'll say, let's go back to whatever date. And it tells me how many buildings, how many people. Oh yeah, I can do it right now.
Wow. For real?
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, we are joined with my consultant, producer, former host of Unsavory Politique, historian, Revolutionary Alliance founder, was there during Occupy movement, watched it all, witnessed it, organized, a part of the Hoover movement. My guy, Alex Suarez.
Thank you for having me. Sorry for being so late. It took longer at the dentist than I thought.
Yeah, man. We were talking about the damage of Tel Aviv.
Yeah, I've got some numbers for you.
By the way, I'm going to talk normal because they didn't use any Novocaine for my cavities. I said, don't bother with that, because I knew I was going to go on the podcast later, so I'm fine.
Oh, okay. I hope you're fine.
Yeah, I don't feel any pain because it wasn't like, deep cavities, so I was lucky. I can take the pain anyway.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. You're very strong. I can't do that.
That's wild. I've given birth to 3 children, and I would not have my teeth worked on without some kind of medication, if that's any kind of like threshold.
I mean, cavities aren't as big a deal as like wisdom teeth. Pulling your wisdom teeth, I had that happen to me. It doesn't make you less wise, but it's pretty painful.
What was the information, Amy?
Oh yeah, okay, sorry. Recent claims. So the Israeli Tax Authority has a breakdown of 28,230 claims that they've processed so far.
I'll be right back.
18,408 structures that include buildings and homes have been damaged, 6,000 vehicles, 2,500 claims for personal belongings, and 618 claims for miscellaneous war damages. Tel Aviv is where 21.9% of these claims have been made. Beersheba, I probably butchered that, is the second highest with 15.8. And the southern cities also reported significant damage. There's now a new process called fast track claiming, where citizens can file for up to 300,000. Oh, I guess it's 8,000 for structures and content and get immediate funding.
Wow.
But yeah, so when they say, 18,000 buildings, that's
Wow.
not nothing.
So that's how we can find out how bad the damage is in Israel right now.
because and that was
crazy.
and I've asked it like a series of different questions, like, can you tell me about the damage? And Israel's trying really hard to hide it.
Are they arresting their citizens who even like tweet about it? Like,
yes,
it's like
videos.
a state secret now. You can't show pictures of any damage to their buildings.
Exactly. Isn't that crazy? Like, can you imagine like a tornado taking out a town and then the government being like, no, you can't talk about this? It's just.
Think about Lebanon, which is far more democratic than Israel, actually has elections. Hezbollah, who they claim are terrorists, are members of parliament. I don't think the EU.
They have a constitution, by the way, too.
Yeah, for a long time, even the EU didn't recognize Hezbollah as terrorists. I think they gave in from U.S. pressure. But, in Lebanon, can you imagine the government saying, do not take pictures of any damage done by Israel to the country? They would cry in the West. The Western bourgeois press would cry, that this is a dictatorship. How dare they not let their citizens do that? And Israel does it, and there's the crickets. You know what I mean? Total silence, total hypocrisy by the Western media.
Yeah, same thing with Iran. Iran is allowing CNN, everybody to come on in. Iran and Lebanon has constitutions, by the way. As much as people want to say,
well, there are elections in Iran as well, just like there is in Lebanon.
Exactly. Israel does not have a constitution.
By the way, when the people were protesting that women be allowed to not wear veils, they changed the law and they listened to the people. Can you imagine, like, if you actually look at opinion polls in the United States on so many different issues where like 80-90% of the people are against it, and both the parties are completely immune to what the people want on those issues. So who's the real democracy here, right?
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the videos of Iranian women and children talking, you see some wearing their burqas, and then you're also seeing some not. You're seeing Iranian women not wearing hijabs neither. You're seeing a few of them not wearing, and then you're seeing a few of them also wearing. So,
well, you have people that were part of the opposition that are now in solidarity with their government, resisting the foreign intervention of Israel and the United States in their country. So if anything, is bringing people over to the government to support the Ayatollah-backed government more. As a matter of fact, one of the at least 70 schools, the United States is obsessed with killing children in Iran. That's indisputable. So is Israel, like in Gaza. But out of this, at least 70 that Israel and the United States targeted, one of them had graffiti on the school that said, "Return the Shah," which of course, the Shah's son, the so-called Prince of Iran, was completely silent about. But they're killing his own people that are not part of the government. It was a school that was affiliated with the opposition, with monarchists, and they killed those children too. So if anything, it's making those parents that support the monarchy want to support the Ayatollahs now as well. It's all backfiring, just like the sanctions backfired as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you attack a country, the people in that country, their individual differences are put aside to join together as a country to protect themselves as a country. Like, I think that's historically that's the way it's always been. And America's just not smart enough to catch on to that.
Right. No, totally, totally. You know, one great example, 9/11. When 9/11 happened, the country came together. You know what I mean? When that terror attack happened in France, France came together. You know what I mean?
Well, not
It's
only
just
that,
so
like in
funny.
2006, right? So I remember when the Israeli reinvasion, you can call it, right? Because they withdrew from southern Lebanon in 2001. They returned to occupy Lebanon in 2006. And I remember when that was going on, they had an opinion poll of how many Lebanese supported Hezbollah, because they were the only ones fighting, not the Lebanese army. The Lebanese army completely sold out and capitulated to Israel. So the only ones defending their country was Hezbollah. And they had an opinion poll, and 90% of Lebanese, so that includes Christians, Lebanese, and other sector of society that doesn't typically support the Shia group, the Hezbollah, all those sections of society, the Sunni, the Christian, the Druze, etc., 90% of the people were backing Hezbollah because they were defending their country from a foreign invasion. And not only that, look at sanctions, right? So, Jamar, you know that I was an election observer in 2021 in Venezuela. And I talked with several members of the opposition when that happened. And a lot of the people in the opposition opposed the sanctions. And some people told me, they said, we were not going to vote for Maduro's party. But because, you know, my grandmother died because she couldn't get medicine, because we know Maduro's bravely fighting against the United States in these terrible sanctions, I've never been a socialist, but I'm going to vote for him. So if anything, it makes people that would not have backed the government that's under attack by the United States by these sanctions back them. It completely backfires. They even have a military term for it. It's called blowback. But so these economic terrorism sanctions, and plus, of course, military intervention, bombings, it just makes the people want to support their government more. It makes them want to retaliate against the foreigners that are killing their family, that are killing children and civilians.
Yeah, and you know the Christian population in Lebanon is being heavily targeted. And
they just bombed the synagogue. They just bombed one of the most sacred synagogues. Israel did it, not the United States. Israel actually bombed real Jews, non-Zionist Jews, Persian Jews. They bombed one of their most important synagogues. This is not about anti-Semitism. I mean, they're if anything, the Persian Jews that were not united with the Ayatollahs, now they are. So it's like, what more, you know?
Yeah, you just gave more allies. And you hear the rhetoric when it comes to Lebanon, they're literally saying, if we see a Christian near a Shia, we're going to kill you too. No Christians should be hiding Shia Muslims. That's literally what they said. Don't that sound like Nazi Germany?
You're talking about what Israel said?
Yeah, that's what the Israeli officials are saying right now.
I'm not surprised by that at all. Yeah.
That sounds like Nazi Germany. If you hide Jews, we'll kill you.
They're going door to door. They're going. They will go.
Anne Frank. I'm glad you brought that up, Jamar, because you know I'm a historian. So Anne Frank, actually, the woman who protected her family from the Nazis, who let them hide in her home, they were about to shoot her that day. That they caught her and her family there, and the only reason why she survived is because she had the same accent from the same province in like Austria as the captain that was in charge of the troopers that stormed the house that day. So he took pity on her, said, "No, leave her alone. She's from Austria, like me." You know, that's the only reason why they didn't shoot her.
I remember. Yeah,
that's the only reason why they didn't shoot her, and she survived. And there's a movie. Wow. I can't think of the name, but the guy that like was one of the kids is based off of was the speaker at like the ceremony I was at. And this movie was all about this woman who believed in these, you know, underprivileged kids and was their teacher. And she actually showed them the Anne Frank diary, which of course is illegal in Florida in public schools. You know that the state is completely covered up the Holocaust. But this was in California. So back when they showed the diary there, they actually got in touch with the woman. She was still alive. This was in the 90s. The woman in the Netherlands who protected the Frank family, because you know the father survived. And so they didn't bring the father; he was already dead. But the woman, she was still alive, and they brought her to speak at the class that was studying the Anne Frank diary.
Was it called Freedom Riders?
Yes, Freedom Riders. So that woman, she told the story about how she was about to be shot, and then she realized that the captain was from the same province as her because they had the same accent, and she used that to save her life so she could tell the tale. But that's how close they was to shooting her.
That's crazy. I remember.
How are you doing on time, by the way, Amy? How are you doing on time?
I'm
good.
I'm totally fine. I have a question for Alex, if it's okay.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
Okay, thank you. Alex, I was talking earlier about a battle between Israel and Hezbollah, which I thought was 2008, but it may have been 2006.
No, where there was no invasion. 2008. You're talking about another operation in Gaza. 2006 is when they went into Lebanon.
Okay, so 2006. So they I read, and I have this book about Hamas. It's not written by Hamas. It's written by the Institute for Palestinian Studies, and it's a study of them.
I've heard
But
of them. Yeah.
it also talked about this specific incident of Hezbollah being so outnumbered, 50-1, and they still won.
Yep.
Can you give me any additional information
I'll
about
tell you
that?
exactly why. So I'm a student of guerrilla warfare. And so, of course, Hezbollah have read Che's guerrilla warfare. They're experts in guerrilla warfare. They know the terrain. The Israelis don't. And also, let's just face it, they're braver. The Israelis are used to killing children. They're used to relying on snipers. They're cowards. In hand-to-hand combat, they're going to lose every time. So even though the Hezbollah in that area were outnumbered, they defeated Israel because they're cowards. They're used to, killing children from afar. When they had to face armed men, it was a totally different scenario.
And didn't it happen twice, back to back?
1 second, I'll be right back.
Sure. I love having an expert. I need to find where I read that, because I want to go back and read it again and read some more.
Hey, I don't know if Jamar told you, but I helped take care of my father, so that's why there's going to be some interruptions. But yes, so I don't know if that particular instance was in 2006, but I know the Israelis were in Lebanon 2001, and that they were in Lebanon in the 1980s. Shabra and Shatila massacre was conducted by Catholic Maronites that were Zionists in Lebanon. That was overseen by Ariel Sharon, by the former prime minister himself. There was massacres of Palestinians in the camps then. Where they removed Greek Orthodox. Hold on. Greek Orthodox, just to put this, and then you say whatever you like. Greek Orthodox, I'm going to forget if I don't say it now. Greek Orthodox Christians in Lebanon are pro-Palestine. So they didn't use that Christian group. They used a group of Maronites who descend from the Crusaders, European people that stayed in the Middle East, and used those pro-Zionist Maronite Lebanese to conduct the massacres. Now, this was in the 1980s. A lot of people that are Maronite are ashamed of that, and they don't necessarily hold those views anymore. But at that time, they considered Greek Orthodox Christian Lebanese fair game to attack as well, because they tend to be pro-Palestine. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say was just that in that incident, the Americans promised the Palestinians that, because that was a Palestinian camp, a refugee camp in Lebanon.
Yeah, Shabra and Shatila. Yes, they were two camps they attacked.
Yeah, and they had been run out of Gaza, out of Palestine. And so they were there.
And they wouldn't give them citizenship. So the Lebanese thought that, unlike in Jordan, where the majority of the population are Palestinian descent, where they gave them citizenship right away as soon as they fled in 1948. In Lebanon, the theory was, well, let's not give them citizenship to pressure Israel. But these were Palestinians that were mistreated by their fellow Arabs. And to add insult to injury, of course, Israel came in and used that group to massacre them.
Yes. So what they did is they said America was involved, and we said, we're going to move all the men to Yemen. And so the men said to America, and it was George Bush, I believe, you have to protect our families, our women and our children. And America said, yes, we will. And then Israel.
Well, this was during Reagan, but Bush was vice president. No, he was vice president, so he could have been involved. They could have relied on Bush to take care of that.
No, you're right. You're right. I conflate the two all the time because
well, Bush was right after Reagan, right? So
right after.
So they sent the men to Yemen.
In the 80s, Reagan decimated the progressive Catholics in Central America, back to the massacring of Palestinians. I mean, he had enough at one point. They sent Reagan a picture of a dead Palestinian girl, and then he ordered Israel to stop. But by then, so much damage was done.
It's too late. Yeah.
Yeah. It was too late,
So they moved the men to Yemen, and the women and children were left there unprotected. And then Israel, the IDF, protected this Catholic or Christian group to go in there. I thought the name started with a P, Fling or Flang.
Yeah, so look, the Houthis at one point were the only government that was actively resisting Israel. Now Iran has responded, of course, to Israel in invading their country with bombs, maybe even ground troops eventually. But yeah, if you want to talk about Yemen, I mean, the Houthis have really put up a fight. And of course, just like the Strait of Hormuz, they closed the Red Sea to add pressure, economic pressure to the West, which I think was brilliant.
It was absolutely brilliant.
Who are the real pirates? The Somalis who are just trying to get by? the Yemenis, or the pirates of the West that are coming and stealing all the oil from the
Yep.
Middle East, stealing the oil from Venezuela. To me, that's the real pirates.
And it's one of
Yeah.
the poorest countries
Be right
on
back.
the planet, and they did more to protect Palestinians
Yeah.
than
Yeah, they did.
that's just mind blowing. But that Sabra,
Yeah.
the fact that those women and children were slaughtered for days it went on.
I believe it was 3 days.
And
I'm trying to recollect.
the rapes, the slaughtering, and IDF had turned on lights so that they could continue to do it well into the night. I was so disgusted by that. And now Israel has their Sabra hummus named
Yes.
after a fucking attack. I
Yes.
just, there's so many things that I loathe
Yeah.
about
And
the
they have children books about rockets. They got children books about
Jesus.
rockets.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that clown Blossom likes
it's
to
just
promote.
it's they are a terrorist pariah apartheid state.
Oh,
And
yeah.
YouTube might take down my video saying that, so I'm not gonna say it again. But like we have to like really call it as we see it, you know, like and once again, guys, just like South Africa, America supports them. You know what I mean? It took Cuba to stop the invasion in Angola when the apartheid South African government was trying to invade Angola. It took.
By the way,
Cuba.
you don't hear too much background noise, right?
None.
No, I don't.
All right, that's good. Go ahead, finish your point. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, we're getting down to the hour and 30 minutes. I wanted to talk about Cuba as well too.
Which I've been to as well, besides Venezuela.
Right. So the Russian ship finally came in, Alex. And
the Turkish one too. There was a Turkish ship.
Oh, the Turkish one as well too?
Yeah, they brought a bunch of energy over to Cuba that they needed.
Right.
And Turkey has good relations with Venezuela as well. I mean, Erdogan is a complex figure. I'm not his biggest fan, but he has stood up to the West lately. No, he stood up to the West lately and to benefit more Latin America. And for that, I have to give him kudos.
Yeah, I mean, look, Erdogan, let me know if you agree with this. Erdogan's going to have to choose a side soon because the Israelis see him as an enemy. And if NATO breaks up like the way it is and Israel is still around, he should be expecting Israeli missiles.
So I never judge a leader based on what they say. I base on what they do, right? So, for example, he said, if Israel goes into Lebanon, I'm going to send ground troops. And what did he do? He sent ground troops into Syria with Israel to overthrow Assad right after saying that. He worked with Israel. So he does stuff like that.
Knowing that they hate him. Right.
But a lot of time he's silent on something and does something. That's intelligence. He hasn't spoken out about what he's going to do with Venezuela and Cuba, I don't think, but he's actually gone and sent aid there or bought oil for fair prices. So that I respect. But when he comes out and talks and then does the opposite, it pisses me off because I don't like hypocrisy. So
yeah, and it's like, dude, you're going to have to choose a side because the Israelis are focused on attacking you after whatever happens with Iran. They have said this out loud. Natalie Bennett was one of the most recent voices that has said that they see Turkey as an enemy.
It took the Greeks sending their navy to defend the last flotilla that went to Gaza. They backed off in the end, but at least they accompanied them for part of the trip. Like Turkey wanted nothing to do with this latest flotilla. It took the Greeks putting him to shame and him saying, all right, I'm going to send some Turkish, ships as well. But yeah, he hasn't, when it comes to actions, done much to help Palestine. He continues to do business behind the scenes with Israel.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that because he has to know that they are out to get him. He has to know that they want him. I don't understand why you keep
well, what protects him
with these guys.
What protects him is that he's a member of NATO. And Israel is technically not part of NATO. But is that going to stop Trump from letting Netanyahu attack Turkey? You know what I mean? Trump's threatening to.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Another thing, a lot of people assume that this is important to stress. A lot of people that are ignorant to the demographics of Greenland assume that the majority of the people of Greenland are white people from Denmark. It's not true.
No,
Over
they're not.
80% of the Greenlanders are indigenous people.
Right.
You have about
Right.
a 20% people that are descended from the Danes. So those indigenous people could have had a referendum and voted and said, you know what, we don't want to be part of Denmark anymore. Not going to happen now, because you have a country like the United States threaten my country and try to force me not to be part of Denmark. I'm going to do the opposite. Again, blowback. So their latest referendum said they want to remain with the Danes. And what would happen if the Danes out in the U.S. took over? They would privatize their medical system. They would lose all these rights that they have in a socialized system as part of the EU.
Yeah. Oh God, no! They don't want Trump as president. Hell no. Amy and I were also talking about Taiwan as well too. Did you hear about that?
What's the latest there?
Taiwan is now opening up relations with China.
I'm not surprised because think about it. Even the Koreas, you just had the president, very moving. The president and the Prime Minister Kim Jong-un of North Korea and the president of South Korea not only embraced each other at the border, they brought one over to the one side of the border, the over to the other.
I forgot to cover that. Thank you so much for mentioning that.
They're more united than ever, and this is the same time that all this military equipment is being taken out of South Korea and other parts of the Pacific to be brought over to fight Iran. So while the U.S. is losing political and military influence in Asia, it's solidifying those old divisions. It's solidifying potential unity for the Koreas to unite. So, of course, I'm not surprised now the Taiwan that had divisions with China that was instigated by the U.S. is starting to reconcile as well.
Yeah, we're seeing this is a crazy time. Like I just don't understand.
The same thing with Venezuela and Colombia. You know, I also take it back to Latin America. The Colombians and Venezuelans hit each other for centuries. And that was instigated by the Spaniards after Bolivar and all that. Now the Colombian progressive government and the Chavista government, which remains in Venezuela, even without Maduro, under Delcy Rodriguez, they're more united than ever against U.S. imperialism as well. Killing those fishermen, killing those Colombian, Venezuelan fishermen, etc., that really made unity. So if anything, everything the U.S. empire has been doing lately is just making more people hate the U.S. and having less influence in the region, more pressure on the governments, including the puppet regimes, to cease working with the United States.
But and that gives me the last question, guys. And you know why is everybody just going around in this country like everything's okay?
Well, we're in a bubble because we're part of a continent that's separated from a lot of what's going on in Europe and in the Middle East. But we're in, I don't want to say globalized, but we're what's the term? Multipolar world. We're not a unipolar world, and so we can't keep ignoring this. It is affecting gas prices. You know, the Strait of Hormuz, what's going on there, but also Africa, right? Do you know that question they asked Ibrahim Touré the other day from Burkina Faso? They said, what do you think of democracy? He said, any African leader that has somebody come up to them and talking about democracy, run the other way. Because what he's talking about, what he's talking about is, and it wasn't a fake video because he doesn't speak English. Those videos where he speaks English is AI. He speaks French and he speaks tribal languages. But what he was saying in perfect French in the video was right on. He's like, he obviously was talking about bourgeois democracy, right? But I get it. I mean, you know, what's democracy for Libya, right? I mean, they were, if you want to look at the word democracy, it means power of the people. They were more democratic under Gaddafi. And, you know, when they tried to so-called democratize Libya, now there's open air slavery there, right? So Traoré knows this. And, you know, so to try to impose any type of democracy on Burkina Faso is ridiculous. I mean, they're actually looking out for the people. They're united with other African countries, with Mali, with Niger. And so that's why the French and U.S. imperialists want to use the so-called democracy, right, to overthrow him.
Right. And it has a different interpretation, just like with everything. Like even with socialism itself, where you see in every single country that has a socialist practice, they have their own interpretation on how they want to do things. Oh yeah.
Someone just asked about that.
Yeah, they asked in the comment section. They was like, "What was Amy vaping?"
Oh, she was vaping.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I am such an avid vapor. I can't do anything unless
if you want to get off topic,
some kind of smoke in my breath.
look what I'm reading lately.
Stop! Really?
Jerry Garcia.
I'm a fan.
The oral biography of Jerry Garcia. There's a legend right there. He was in Woodstock. He's the guy who's the lead singer of the Grateful Dead, man. Come on.
Yeah, I'm joking.
And he was missing a finger.
You're joking. Hey, we're not talking about the Garcia from Ben and Jerry's.
Right.
That's a different Jerry.
For a second.
CBC voter, I want to stay level-headed in this conversation.
Right.
I'll do that after.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I was like, did we actually have a question from the audience? Wow.
What's Amy smoking? This has been fun. I like this. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is a good time to close it. We have covered so much, man. And there's so much information that you guys
Can you hear me?
have received. Yeah.
You should do this again.
It's hard to hear you. My phone's messing up, but next time let's try to schedule for a little bit later. Especially if I have an appointment, because sometimes it takes a little longer than expected to get home, and I like to do the shows from home, not while I'm driving, so I can give all my focus. But thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a better time. We'll do it again with you and Amy as well too. We'll bring Amy back.
Nice meeting you, Amy. Peace out.
Yeah, you too, Alex. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good one, Alex. Yeah, I get mixed up on time sometimes. I'll be forgetting people got schedules. I'll be like 4 o'clock. You're good. 4 o'clock.
I think it's funny that he came on and talked about his dad and everything.
Yeah.
His dad's
so people like before we started recording, I was like, don't tell Alex I told you that he took care of his dad. And then
that was the first thing he said.
I was like, I didn't want his business out.
He's very nice. And honestly, I love talking to people that love history, because I feel like you cannot understand the future until you understand the past. And we cannot understand who we are as a people until we understand what we've done and how we got here. Right.
Exactly. So,
it's so nice to be involved, even for an hour and a half today, in a conversation where I'm not being gaslit, where we can just speak our truth. Thank you so much for including me in this. I really appreciate it.
And is there anywhere people can reach you, or you don't have to give out no plugins? I always say that.
No, I'm on Twitter. I'm always looking for more people on Twitter, because I love to destroy Israelis on Twitter. And I'm on Facebook. I try not to use Facebook that much because it's Meta, and they've banned my account about 1,000 times and then let me come back for criticizing Israel.
So careful. Yeah,
it's totally. I posted stuff about Epstein, and they removed my posts about Epstein, claimed I posted child porn, and took my account away. Thank God I'm a white woman. I got it back. I did. I Karen'd it. I can Karen with the best of them, and I try to use it for good. But yeah, on Twitter, I'm Lappos Amy. Amy. Find me and follow me.
All right. So yeah, definitely. We'll definitely get you back on the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And if you like what you're hearing and you want to support the show, like I said, we don't have any corporate backers. Liking, sharing, commenting, like what you guys were beautifully doing today, is how we could keep the algorithm going. And also, if you want to support the show financially, the Cash App right there at the bottom, Jabari Media. Like I said, we have no corporate backers. We have no hedge funds. We don't have anything that supports capitalism so strongly, you know what I mean? And they give us money. I don't got no sponsors and none of that. So you will be helping a working class show, and I like to keep it working class. That's the way we can always stay connected, because Richies are disconnected. So then, without further ado, this is our head out. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Amy. To everybody in the comment section, have a beautiful Friday as well too, as much as you can. I know hearing the news and everything is stressing you the hell out, but please take care of yourself and have a good day. See you later.
Blank period, yeah. I'm a black, brown, and indigenous. Gotta holler if you really feeling this. Gotta holler if you really real enough. Other rappers is delirious. Yeah, it's really that serious. Better holler if you really feeling me. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna live in abundance. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna. I gotta keep it 100. We gotta stop all the stunting. You know we coming from nothing. Yo, you talking about money, you bluffing. We gotta do something different. We gotta change how we live in. We gotta do better for women. We gotta do better for children. We gotta listen to victims, whether Jewish or Muslim or Christian. It doesn't matter your religion. You gotta stand against the system, or else you just another villain. How you just sitting there chilling?